The week from Monday, August 11th to Friday, August 15th promises to be a thrilling one for the fans of the bold and the beautiful. The drama is about to heat up, and we're in for a whirlwind of emotions, revelations, and decisions that could change the course of relationships. The central theme for the week seems to revolve around stubbornness and determination, with characters fiercely holding onto their desires and refusing to let go, no matter the cost. It's a week where passions run high, and the consequences of those actions will likely leave lasting effects on everyone involved. Brooke Logan and Ridge Forrester find themselves at a critical juncture in their relationship. Ridge's decision to take action in bringing Brooke closer to him seems like the easy part. However, both of them will soon realize that the real struggle lies ahead. While Ridge has always been Brooke's anchor, their past has been tumultuous, and their future remains uncertain. As they come to grips with the challenges before them, they must face the realities of their complicated relationship and the emotional baggage they both carry. Ridge may think that all he needs to do is get Brooke back into his arms, but in reality, the hurdles they face seem insurmountable. The journey to rebuild their trust will not be an easy one, and it is clear that they must confront the unresolved issues that have plagued them for years. Nick Marone, however, refuses to back down. He has his eyes firmly set on Brooke, and his determination knows no bounds. Nick is a man on a mission, and this week, he is prepared to make his move. Armed with a ring, Nick plans to propose to Brooke and, in his mind, secure her future with him. He has no intention of backing down in the face of competition. He knows what he wants, and he's willing to fight for it. His boldness might come across as reckless, but he believes that the future he envisions with Brooke is worth the risk. But the question remains, will Brooke be swayed by Nick's persistence, or will her heart remain firmly with Ridge? Nick's efforts will lead him to take a bold step, offering Brooke a glimpse of his proposal, making it clear that he is serious. The ring becomes a symbol of his commitment, and he hopes it will be the key to unlocking Brooke's heart. But despite his best efforts, there are no guarantees that his proposal will result in success. Taylor Hayes, who has always been a complicated figure in the love triangle between Brooke, Ridge, and herself, also refuses to let go of the past. This week, she will take a stand, firmly telling Ridge that their future is no longer together. Taylor's decision to not remove the ring from her finger sends a clear message. She is committed to her own path, even if it means leaving Ridge behind. She will make it clear that Brooke's future with Ridge is uncertain, but for Taylor, she is determined to move forward, even if it means facing rejection. Taylor's refusal to let go of her feelings for Ridge becomes a pivotal moment in the unfolding drama, as her emotional resilience is tested. This declaration of independence will serve as a turning point for her character, as she must now decide whether to let go of the past completely or to fight for a second chance at happiness. Meanwhile, the tension escalates as Liam Spencer updates his father, Bill Spencer, about the ongoing situation involving Grace Buckingham. Grace has been a thorn in the Spencer family's side for quite some time, and her manipulative behavior continues to create chaos in the lives of those around her. Liam's report to Bill about Grace's actions, particularly her attempts to manipulate him, will set the stage for a powerful confrontation. Bill, who is no stranger to ruthless business dealings and personal vendettas, will not take kindly to Grace's actions. He is furious, not just because of the personal betrayal, but because Grace's actions have had a direct impact on his family. Bill's protective instincts toward his son, Liam, will lead him to take drastic measures to ensure that Grace faces the consequences of her actions. As Grace becomes the target of Bill's wrath, she will realize that her situation has gone from bad to worse. Bill is not the kind of man who forgives easily, and his sense of justice will drive him to push for severe consequences for Grace. While Grace may have thought that she could manipulate the Spencer family for her own gain, she will soon find out that she is out of her depth. Bill's decision to take legal action against Grace could result in her facing criminal charges, and the emotional toll it takes on her will be evident. Her attempts to protect her son, Luna, will be her only saving grace in this situation. But even that may not be enough to save her from Bill's wrath. As the week progresses, the stakes get higher. The struggle between Nick and Ridge for Brooke's affections intensifies, and their rivalry grows more heated. Nick, though determined, will soon find himself outmatched by the emotional history that Brooke shares with Ridge. While he fights for a future with Brooke, Ridge's enduring love for her proves to be a formidable obstacle. Taylor, too, will come to terms with the reality that her own dreams of a future with Ridge are slipping away. She may try to protect her own heart by standing firm in her decisions, but the emotional pull of the past is a hard thing to ignore. Liam's report to Bill about Grace's manipulations will have far-reaching consequences. Bill's anger will not be easily appeased, and his decision to take action against Grace will be a defining moment for his character. The tension between father and son will grow, as Liam tries to find a way to balance his desire to protect Grace and his loyalty to his father. The situation is complicated, and there are no easy answers. But one thing is clear, Bill is not one to back down when it comes to family, and he will do whatever it takes to protect them. As the week draws to a close, viewers will be left on the edge of their seats, eagerly anticipating what comes next. Nick's pursuit of Brooke, Ridge's unresolved feelings for her, Taylor's refusal to let go, and Bill's vengeful determination all come to a head. The stakes are high, and no one can predict the outcome. The Bold and the Beautiful has never been more thrilling, and with every twist and turn, the drama continues to unfold, leaving viewers on the edge of their seats, waiting for the next shocking revelation. The power struggles, love triangles, and family dynamics that define the show will continue to drive the narrative forward, and this week promises to be one of the most unforgettable yet. Taylor Hayes has always been a complex figure in the world of the bold and the beautiful. For years, she has been a woman driven by love, compassion, and a desire to build a happy life with the people she holds dear. But life, as it often does in the high-stakes world of the Forresters and Spencers, has not been kind to her. Taylor, once a respected psychiatrist and a beloved member of the Forrester family, finds herself at a breaking point after losing everything that ever truly mattered to her. Her world crumbles under the weight of betrayal, heartache, and the unrelenting forces of those around her. And as she stands in the ruins of her former life, Taylor makes a choice that will alter the course of her future and shake the very foundation of the Forrester family. She will seek revenge, not just for herself, but for the injustices she has suffered. Taylor Hayes has a plan, a strategy, and she is determined to see it through. For Taylor, the ultimate betrayal came when she found herself cast aside by the very family she had once given everything to. The Forrester family, with all its glamour, beauty, and power, had always been a place where Taylor felt a sense of belonging. She had been a trusted confidant, a mother, and a wife. Someone who had made immense sacrifices for the sake of the family. But when Rich, the man she had loved and fought for throughout the years, once again chose Brooke over her, it shattered Taylor's sense of security. For years, she had fought for Ridge's heart, only to watch as he continually returned to Brooke, leaving her alone and devastated time and time again. But it wasn't just Ridge's rejection that broke her, it was the cold indifference from those around her. The Forrester family, which had once embraced her, now turned its back on her. The family she had been so loyal to had abandoned her, and Taylor's heart was left in pieces. The emotional toll was immense. Taylor had lost not just her marriage, but the trust of her closest allies. She had always believed in the power of love and family, but now she was questioning everything she had ever known. She had poured her heart into the Forrester legacy, but in return, she had been left with nothing but pain. And that pain transformed into something far darker. Taylor Hayes was no longer the naive, loving woman she once was. Instead, she became a woman bent on retribution, a woman willing to do whatever it took to take down those who had wronged her. Her strategy was simple. She would dismantle the Forrester empire from the inside. Taylor knew that the key to getting her revenge was not through brute force, but through subtlety, manipulation, and the quiet destruction of the very foundations that had once supported the Forrester name. She understood the inner workings of the family better than anyone else, having been married to Ridge and having raised children alongside him. She knew the cracks in the family's armor, the insecurities, the jealousies, and the betrayals that lurked beneath the surface. And she would exploit those weaknesses to bring the Forrester dynasty to its knees. The first step in her plan was to infiltrate the Forrester Creations business. Having once been a trusted member of the family, Taylor knew how to get close to the key players. She started by securing a position within the company, gaining access to crucial information that could be used to manipulate the outcome of important deals. Taylor had a sharp mind, a keen sense of strategy, and a thirst for revenge that drove her to carefully orchestrate every move. She made alliances with individuals who shared her disdain for the Forrester family, aligning herself with those who were just as eager to see the downfall of the company as she was. But even as she began to make significant strides in her plan, Taylor soon realized that her actions would come at a steep cost. As she began to undermine the Forrester family's operations, Taylor quickly found herself isolated from those she had once loved. Her manipulation and deceit alienated her from Ridge, her children, and the few friends she had left. Ridge, once her soulmate, now saw her as nothing more than a threat. He could not understand how the woman he had once loved could turn so ruthlessly against the family he had spent his life building. Ridge's love for Brooke only deepened the chasm between him and Taylor, and the rejection from him and the Forrester family left her with a cold emptiness that no amount of revenge could fill. Her children, Steffi and Thomas, began to see their mother in a different light. They had always admired her strength, but now they questioned her methods. They could see the darkness that had overtaken her, and they struggled to reconcile the woman they had known with the vengeful figure she had become. The more Taylor pushed forward with her plan, the more she lost the trust of the people who had once been closest to her. But Taylor was determined. She had no intention of turning back now. Every step she took in her plan felt like a small victory, a vindication of the years of heartache and betrayal she had suffered. She could taste the sweet satisfaction of seeing the Forrester family unravel, and that drove her forward. The more she watched them falter, the more power she gained. She knew that the ultimate blow would come when the family was at its weakest, when they no longer knew who to trust, when their empire was crumbling from within. Taylor had calculated every move, every strategy, and she was prepared to make her final strike. However, as the stakes grew higher and the tension built, Taylor began to face a moral dilemma. The more she accomplished, the more she realized that the cost of her revenge was greater than she had initially thought. The people she had once loved, the family she had once been a part of, were slipping further away from her grasp. Was it worth it? Was the destruction of the Forrester family worth losing everything else in her life? The closer she came to achieving her goal, the more she questioned whether her thirst for revenge had consumed her entirely. The line between justice and vengeance blurred, and Taylor began to wonder if she was becoming the very thing she had once despised. At the height of her manipulation, Taylor's world began to collapse. Her plan, once so precise and calculated, started to backfire. The more she tried to control the situation, the more unpredictable the consequences became. Her actions had led to a breaking point where even the smallest misstep could send her crashing down. Ridge, Brooke, and the Forrester family began to piece together the truth about her involvement in the company's turmoil. The lies, the deceit, and the manipulation were no longer hidden. And as the truth came to light, Taylor found herself standing alone, abandoned by the very people she had tried to destroy. The final confrontation came when Taylor was faced with the ultimate question: was revenge truly worth it? As the Forrester family closed in on her, Taylor realized that in her quest to tear them apart, she had lost herself. The woman who had once been strong, compassionate, and driven by love had been replaced by a figure consumed by bitterness and anger. She had sacrificed everything, her relationships, her family, her own sense of morality, for the sake of revenge. And now, as the consequences of her actions began to unfold, Taylor was forced to confront the reality of what she had become. In the end, Taylor's attempt to destroy the Forrester family from the inside ultimately led to her own downfall. The people she had once loved could not forgive her for the pain she had caused. The ties that had once bound them together were severed, and Taylor was left with nothing but the bitter taste of regret. Her revenge had come at the cost of everything she had ever cared about, and as the dust settled, she was left to pick up the pieces of her shattered life. Taylor Hayes' story is one of love, loss, betrayal, and the destructive power of revenge. It is a reminder of how easily one can be consumed by anger and how, in the pursuit of justice, one can lose sight of everything that truly matters. Taylor's journey is a tragic one, her quest for vengeance ultimately leading to her isolation and the destruction of the very things she had once cherished. In the end, she is left to reflect on her choices, wondering if there was another way, a way where she could have found healing without sacrificing everything in her life. But the question remains, can Taylor ever find redemption, or is her story one of irreversible loss?